What's up, everyone? Mike here, or as I'm known on my YouTube channel, Mikey Truth. Someone left these glasses here last night at our poker game, so I got some stolen glasses on, and I got some new shoes, and I won poker last night, so I made some money. But anyway, this is not about me. This is about my brother, Dave Knight, or as the family will always call him, DJ Knight. Happy Father's Day, buddy. Wrote a blog post for you. It took a couple days. Kind of inspired by those cool pictures you took. Pretty awesome. You've seen vadering happen. My brother did a cross-country trip and got some gnarly vadering pictures. They're in this blog. Was also inspired by a YouTube guy. I've been watching a lot of effective communicators I'd consider on YouTube. And a guy, Jeremy Jansen. So if you're reading the blog, his videos are up there. So go watch a couple of his reviews. He's a great reviewer, really cool guy. I'm going to hop to it and jump right into this. I wanted to do this because, as you can see, I'm kind of the Star Trek guy. I was always the Star Trek guy. My brother, though, younger brother, was the Star Wars guy. So I'm going to give my take on the first three, or the original three, versus the new three, which are grossly inferior. So if you're viewing this on YouTube, of course, like my channel, subscribe, and check me out. I do video blogs on everything. I got like 500 videos coming out in the month of July. So let's hop to it. So I'm a 33-year-old man with stolen sunglasses on, and I am going to let you know I grew up with Star Wars, obviously, even though I'm a Star Trek guy. From my vantage point, these were formative movies to me. I touch on Star Wars only a little bit because I actually saw Empire Strikes Back first. That was the first Star Wars movie I ever saw. It was somewhat new at the time. It was probably a couple years old. I was young, but still cognizant enough to really remember, the scene where Luke finds out that Vader's his dad. Spoiler alert. That was just like unbelievable. I mean, what guy didn't freak out at that scene? You know, or seeing Jabba the Hutt in Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi was like right as it was still fairly new, and I was watching it, and watched these two about 100 times. Watched Star Wars a couple times too, but that was just a tiny bit before my time. But great movie, best of the six, best to me, obviously. And great movie as well. We're going to let the Ewok slide on this one. I'm going to talk a little bit. I talk a lot in my blog. I beat up George Lucas a lot. Maybe I shouldn't, because he helped develop these original 4 classics, coming-of-age stories with character developments and story arcs and all sorts of interesting dialogue and even some good acting. Great. Here, let's talk about this. We have Episode 1, released in 1999. I was already a grown man in my 20s. Still was looking forward to it, though, even though I'm not a Star Trek guy. I mean, a new set of 3 Star Wars is coming out. God, I'll be excited about that. Phantom Dung Pile. Complete, confusing story. I remember thinking, why? It bothered me that there was a little kid in it. I was like, wait a minute. You got to do in the next 9 years, you have to show us Darth Vader. There's no reason we need to get to know a toddler. There's no reason that we need to get to know a toddler. You can start us out with the teenager Anakin. You know, even though he wasn't that great either, but he's not terrible. You know, let's continue on here. This was absolute trash. There was the lightsaber scene with the 2 Jedis at the end, Qui-Gon Jinn. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, what's he even doing in there? Like, you know, and then spoiler alert, he dies at the end, so we barely got to know him anyway. I guess he's kind of the main character, but then the little annoying kid's kind of the main character. It's just trash. It's not a good movie. These are actually 3 movies. This is maybe 1 movie if you cram them all together. Although that would be incredibly too busy. He already had like 19 different things happening in this one, 4 boring things happening in episode 2, and then 1 interesting thing. Total missed potential in that one. But anyway, whatever. The pod race was the main thing in this one. Like, who cares? Just George, way to sell out, George Lucas. I mean, I don't even think Jar Jar was the worst part of episode 1. You know, I mean, is he the equivalent of the comic relief of Han Solo in here? Absolutely not. But the worst part about this piece of trash was just the unbelievable story. It was confusing yet boring. Fast-paced yet a bunch of CGI garbage. Anyway, not too keen on the first one. There was one thing in a fight scene with the two Jedis at the end where Darth Maul like picks up something with the Force and throws it to open a door. That was kind of cool. Even though, take a look at the lightsaber scenes in this for guys out there in the new 3 ones and how they're super choreographed and super fast-paced and super advanced. These lightsaber fights were more gripping, weren't they? They were more meaningful. They were more. They were cooler. They were cooler. Period. The lightsaber scene between Luke and Vader in Return of the Jedi. Anyway, Attack of the Silly, worst one of the whole thing. I don't remember anything from that movie. There was like a CGI machine scene where they're like, it looked like a Pixar classic. Looked like a Pixar Cars or something. And it was awful, just not good. I don't remember anything from this one. Attack of the Silly. Some people were like, "Oh, there was clones. We got to see clones." Retarded. Revenge of the Below Average. There's even people that I respect their film opinion, their opinion on movies and films and whatever. They make a lot of excuses for Revenge of the Sith. That was the last new Star Wars, and I guess it could have been worse. It could have been worse, but it certainly could have been better. I mean, there was a couple parts that that last scene between Obi-Wan and Anakin is cool. It's a cool lightsaber fight, but he does turn into Vader in kind of a cool way. But I agree with the guy. I mentioned this guy Jeremy Jans. I agree with his take on just the everything having to be kind of included in these 3 movies and kind of forced in, like the little kid building C-3PO. I thought that was weird and awkward. So, he turns into Darth Vader there, I guess. People made excuses for it because this was basically a 2 out of 10 stars. This was 2 or 1, and then this was a 4. So everyone was like, "Oh, the third one was kind of good," But whatever. So that's my opinion. That's my take on Star Wars. I grew up with these movies, so hope that was enjoyable. Like my channel, subscribe to me, read other blogs, and see if you're down to comment or disagree or start a fight with me or whatever you want. Do you agree? Tell me what you think. See ya.